In this video, we're going to share with you 12 fast-acting home remedies and natural treatment options for a yeast infection. Yeast infection or thrush is a nasty problem for both men and women. Yes, it can affect men as well. Not only is it extremely uncomfortable and embarrassing, it can actually lead to more sinister and severe health problems such as acute blood poisoning. The problem with a yeast infection, or Candida albicans, is if it's not treated properly, the Candida grows and infects other organs until it eventually takes over and becomes very toxic to the body. Once it gets into the bloodstream, it releases poisonous chemicals known as Candida buds. Just imagine yourself swimming in an ocean filled with millions of stinging jellyfish. That's what it's like when you end up with toxic Candida overload. What yeast infection treatments and remedies are available? The standard pharmaceutical treatments for a yeast infection are over-the-counter antifungal creams such as Lotrimin, Monistat and Diflucan, along with prescription medications. The problem with these treatments is they only treat the symptom, not the primary cause. The other major problem is many of these pharmaceuticals have antibiotic properties, which means they also kill off the good bacteria in the body, which is something you don't want to happen. So short-term these treatments can help, but long-term they can actually allow Candida fungus to grow and return in greater numbers. What works best? A yeast infection is definitely something that must be treated quickly and effectively. Fortunately, this is quite a simple and easy thing to do when using natural and home remedies. In fact, one natural cure in particular, which we're about to reveal, not only kills off all Candida in the body, it also prevents this horrible fungus from ever returning again. We must admit, searching the internet looking for natural remedies to treat yeast infections, we were amazed at just how many recommendations we came across that only focus on external remedies. No one seems to be addressing the real cause of yeast infections, which is actually an internal problem, not an external one. This is the reason why we put this video together. Because the fact is, unless you treat your yeast infection internally, you will never get rid of it externally. The truth is, there is no single remedy for a yeast infection. Sure, you can go ahead and use just one remedy, be it natural or orthodox, but you will never get rid of it for good by doing this. The only way to successfully treat a yeast infection is by using a combination of internal and external treatments. Natural treatments for yeast infection that work big time. So here's 12 of the most potent home remedies for yeast infections you'll find. Take the time to use them all together, or as many as you can, and in the ways we suggest, to finally get rid of your yeast infection for good. Home remedy for yeast infection number 1. Apple cider vinegar or ACV. Yes, we know, this one goes against what some people recommend for yeast infections, but we suggest you give it a try. You'll be delighted with the results. Apple cider vinegar is one of nature's strongest antibiotics. It can kill just about every fungus, bacteria, virus and protozoa it comes into contact with. And Candida albicans are definitely on its list. Not only does ACV help to get rid of yeast fungus, it also helps to recolonize the intestines and vagina with friendly bacteria or lactobacillus. Once this occurs, the healthy bacteria act as a powerful guard, so to speak, to stop the bad bacteria and Candida from growing out of control again. So there are basically two ways to use the apple cider vinegar. The first is to drink it every day by mixing up 1 to 2 tablespoons of organic apple cider vinegar in a glass of filtered water and drinking 2 to 3 times daily. Do not mix honey or any sugars in the drink as yeast fungus feed off sugar. Admittedly, this concoction doesn't taste the best, but you do get used to it. However, if you find you really can't handle the taste of the ACV, go with the easy-to-swallow tablets or capsules instead. The second way is to use the highly effective ACV tampon method for your yeast infection. Simply soak a tampon in a 50-50 solution of water and apple cider vinegar and place this inside the vagina. Leave in overnight, then dispose of in the morning. Or as a variation, soak some apple cider vinegar with a clean rag or cloth and then place this on the walls of the vagina, or for men, around the penis. Leave on for 10 to 15 minutes or longer, as long as it's not burning. You will definitely need to test this first to make sure it doesn't burn. If you buy a low acidic ACV, 5% or less, you'll likely be fine. However, if it does happen to burn, simply dilute to a 50-50 ratio. Both of these remedies are particularly good for relieving the itching and swelling. The only apple cider vinegar you should use for yeast infections is the organic ACV with the mother. Like we said, go for 5% acidity or less. Health food stores or online shops such as Amazon will be able to help you with this. Make sure you do not use a commercially processed vinegar such as white or brown vinegar. These don't work and will actually do you more harm than good. Oh, and one final reminder. You never actually stop drinking the apple cider vinegar. This is a rest of your life treatment. We don't know why, but many people take it for about 3 months and then stop. Then they wonder why their yeast infection returns. Natural remedy for yeast infection number 2. Probiotics. When you have a yeast infection, you will very likely have bad bacteria running rampant in your body. Probiotics help get rid of these bad bacteria, along with unwanted Candida albicans. These good bacteria don't actually kill the yeast fungus or harmful bacteria. What they do is gain dominance over the bad guys, then take up residence on the walls of the intestines and vagina so the unhealthy microorganisms cannot return. So as long as healthy levels of good bacteria are maintained, the bad bacteria and Candida will not come back in big numbers. Only when, or if the game shifts, and the bad boys are allowed back in, because you didn't keep replenishing the supply of beneficial bacteria, will you end up with harmful bacterial overgrowth and yeast fungus problems again. Additionally, some of the good bacteria, particularly the lactobacillus bacteria, produce hydrogen peroxide as a natural byproduct. Hydrogen peroxide kills bacterial and fungal infections, including yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, very quickly. See our number 9 home remedy for more information on this. So it's crucial that you take a good quality probiotic supplement every day. Also, combining it with wheatgrass or barley grass is highly recommended, as these are an important food source for the beneficial bacteria. They love to feed on them. This makes the probiotics even more effective. In addition to this, you need to get good at fermenting your own probiotic-rich foods such as kefir milk, kefir water, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, and so forth, for an extra powerful supply. Remember this, you can never overdose on probiotics, ever. In fact, the more you have the merrier. Search for "How to Ferment" videos to find all the information you need. Fermenting is fun and easy to do. And finally, this treatment is exactly the same as the ACV remedy. It's a rest of your life treatment, not a prescription treatment. Home remedy for yeast infection number 3. Yogurt. You may already know about this one. What you may not know though is that commercially flavored yogurt will actually make this condition worse. The problem with flavored yogurts is they're full of sugar, or artificial sweeteners. And yeast fungus thrives on sugar. It loves it. So, although yogurt will help with thrush, it must be natural yogurt with no sugar or artificial sweeteners. Homemade is definitely best. There are 2 ways to use yogurt for a yeast infection. The first is to simply eat it. Have yourself a regular serving of natural yogurt 3 times a day, preferably on its own. The second way is a little more complicated. For men, either smother the penis in yogurt or leave it soaking in a container of yogurt for as long as possible, then shower afterwards. For women, you'll need some type of clean plunger to fill with yogurt and insert into the vagina. Also, make sure you smother the yogurt externally around the vagina. Leave on for as long as you can, overnight if possible, then shower in the morning. Natural remedy for yeast infection number 4. Olive leaf extract. Like ACV, olive leaf extract is also an incredibly powerful natural antibiotic and bacterial and fungal destroyer. Research by pharmaceutical company, Upjohn, found that olive leaf extract inhibited the growth of every virus, fungus, bacteria and protozoa they tested it against. They tested more than 30 microorganisms. And Candida was one of them. So taking olive leaf extract for a yeast infection is absolutely vital. You can buy lots of different strengths, so make sure you go for the highest you can get, minimum of 20% oleuropein content. Amazon and Olivus.com stock plenty of the super strength varieties, which are perfect. The best way to use olive leaf extract is to take it for 3 to 4 months at a time with around 3 months break in between. It's considered the ultimate internal body cleanser and will not only help to get rid of your yeast fungus completely, it will kill any parasites you have growing and breeding inside of you. So not only will you be fungus-free, you'll be virus and parasite-free as well. The other way you can use olive leaf extract for treating yeast infections is as a topical spray. You can buy olive leaf extract in tincture form and use it as a vaginal or penis spray. 2 to 3 drops in a small spray bottle mixed with water is all you need. Simply spray on the affected area twice daily for best results. From all reports, it works very well. Home remedy for yeast infection number 5. Garlic. Garlic is one of nature's greatest cure-all medicines. It does so many good things, including destroying bacteria and viruses within the body. And studies have shown that garlic also helps to get rid of and alleviate yeast fungus problems. So be sure to use garlic in your cooking as much as you can. You can never overdose on this remarkable herb, so be sure to go nuts with it. You can also use garlic cloves for yeast infections by inserting them directly into the vagina. We would caution this approach though, as garlic can burn. You would need to test this remedy on yourself and pay careful attention. Remove the clove quickly if any burning sensation is felt. A much better and safer alternative is to use the garlic oil capsules instead. Home remedy for yeast infection number 6. Salt baths. Salt is a very good cleanser and deodorizer. It's important though that you only use natural sea salt or Himalayan pink rock salt. Do not use any commercial table salts as they contain chemicals and anti-caking agents. So what you do is prepare a nice warm bath and add a good amount of salt. Spend at least 15 to 20 minutes bathing, allowing the water to penetrate the vagina. Dry off completely afterwards. Dampness is not good if you have a yeast infection, so make sure everything is dry. You can also buy a salt spray called H2 Ocean online or from tattoo parlors, which is very effective. But in all honesty, you can make it up yourself for virtually nothing. Just dissolve 1 to 2 teaspoons of non-iodized sea salt or pink rock salt in a cup of warm to hot water. Once it cools down, transfer this into a small spray bottle and spray directly onto the vagina or penis. Natural remedy for yeast infection number 7. Borax and boric acid suppositories. Plenty of studies have been conducted on borax and boric acid for treating yeast infections. 3 of the most recent all found that boric acid was far more effective at treating yeast infections than antifungal drugs such as Sporanox and diflucan. One study found that 77% of people were cured of yeast fungus through the use of boric acid compared to only 50% who used the topical and oral medications. Taking borax and using boric acid suppositories both work astoundingly well on yeast infections, but it's recommended they not be used by pregnant women. And of course, they should be used in combination with all or most of the other treatments listed here, not just used exclusively. For everything you need to know on the boric acid treatment for a yeast infection, be sure to check out our full article located on our website. The link is provided at the bottom of this video. Home remedy for yeast infection number 8. Baking soda. Baking soda is a terrific yeast infection and fungus killer, although we do admit it doesn't taste the best. Simply mix half a teaspoon in a glass of warm filtered water and drink twice daily on an empty stomach for 2 weeks, then rest. After a 2-week rest, take for another 2 weeks and continue with this cycle for a full 3 months. After the 3-month period is up, you only need to take the baking soda again if you get another yeast fungus outbreak. We also recommend you add some baking soda to your salt bath for extra potency and benefit as well. Natural remedy for yeast infection number 9. Hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide kills bacteria and fungus fast. It works incredibly well for thrush and bacterial vaginosis, and gives relief from the awful burning and itching in as little as 20 minutes. Sometimes, when a woman thinks she has a yeast infection, it's actually bacterial vaginosis. Trying to tell the difference between the two can be tricky, however, with the hydrogen peroxide remedy it doesn't matter. You get to knock out both of these with one easy punch. To use the hydrogen peroxide treatment, here's what you do. Firstly, make sure you purchase the 3% food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Do not use the industrial type of hydrogen peroxide as this contains added chemicals. Mix up a solution comprised of 1/2 clean water and 1/2 hydrogen peroxide, 50-50 solution, and use this to douche and wash the vaginal area. Or alternatively, purchase a vaginal douche and use this instead, which is even more effective. Do this morning and night and you'll find your yeast infection gone completely within 24 hours. Alternatively, if you feel the itching or burning coming on, apply some of the 3% solution straight from the bottle to the affected area. It works a treat. Home remedy for yeast infection number 10. Black seed, Nigella sativa. It's a fact that yeast infections must be treated using multiple approaches. Just following an anti-yeast diet alone will not get rid of a yeast infection. If you want to get rid of Candida fungus so it never returns, you have to boost your immune system to the maximum. Even health expert, Dr. Gary Null says, the Candida diet is not enough, you must improve the immune system. This is where black seed comes in. This plant boosts the immune system like nothing else. So with your immunity in tip-top condition, your body can easily fight off a yeast infection if one ever tries to take hold. Simply take 2 teaspoons of black seed oil every day for best results. Natural remedy for yeast infection number 11. Soursop or Graviola. Apart from being a powerful cancer preventative and treatment, Graviola is also a broad-spectrum antimicrobial agent. It's highly effective against bacterial and fungal infections, including yeast fungus. And it also kills any internal parasites and worms. In addition to this, Soursop helps to increase your energy and raise your mental alertness and moods quite significantly. Depending on where you live in the world, you can either buy Soursop from health food stores or off the street. If not, you can always purchase it online in supplement form. Home remedy for yeast infection number 12. Foods to avoid. Funnily enough, yeast fungus loves yeast. So to get rid of a yeast infection you must avoid all yeast-containing foods. This will be a lot easier for some people than for others, but it's extremely important. It's no use taking supplements, and even using external treatments, if you're just going to keep feeding the source of your yeast infection. You must starve it. Some of the yeast-containing foods you're going to have to cut out from your diet include beer, wine, bread, pastries, muffins, crackers and bagels. Of course, yeast fungus also loves sugar and feeds off it like crazy, so all sugar must be cut from the diet as well. All soda drinks, diet drinks, cakes, lollies, ice cream, biscuits, and any foods that contain refined sugars have to go. If you eat a lot of sugary foods and yeast-containing foods, and you regularly suffer from yeast infections, then you know the reason why. And because yeast and sugar are added to so many foods today, you're going to have to get good at reading labels every time you shop. Yes, this does sound like a lot of extra work, but it really is worth it. Not just because you'll be free from yeast infections and thrush for good, but because you'll also look and feel a whole lot healthier as well. Home remedies for yeast infection. Final note. Keep in mind that if you have diabetes, or if you're taking antibiotics, the pill, or prescription medications, this will significantly increase your risk of contracting a yeast infection. This makes it all the more important to follow the recommendations and home remedies we've listed. The last thing you want is to be stuck on the on-off yeast infection treadmill for the rest of your life. You can find extra essential tips and tricks, along with a recap of everything in this video, in our full article on yeast infection remedies, located on our website. The link is provided below. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button for our channel as well, located in the bottom right-hand corner of this video. We hope these remedies help you out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and all the best to you.